With that said, let's get this young man on. He hails from regional director. He's no stranger to us. He hails down in the Fresno area. Him and his lovely wife been with us. I think it was 9 years in the business, and I love telling the story. When he left convention one year up in Charlotte, he just said he looked at his lovely wife. He says, "You know what? I'm not coming back with the same pen," and he buried it under a tree. And I love that story. And guess what? Because he made that commitment, he went to work to make it real. He did change his pen. I wish we all would do something like that, just to make a commitment and say, I'm going to put my head down and not come back up until I get her done, get her done, get her done. All the way from Fresno, California. He was a flyer captain. He reduced his pay by $5,000 in the marketplace down there. And a lovely wife says a friend of hers introduced them to ACN. They signed up and have never looked back. Can we give a warm welcome to Regional Director, the one and only Mr. Chris Keith?
So, well, thank you very much, sir, for the platform. I give a shout out to you, sir, for putting this together so we can get on here and kind of go through what people are going through, their trials and tribulations and everything else. Because a lot of the stuff is like what you say, it's like, I would rather take a week to read a book about someone's experiences than take 30 years to figure it out for myself. And it's always been a good thing for people to actually to feel. I don't have another 30 years. I have another 30 years to figure something else out. I got to read the book. So, but thank you, sir, for putting this platform together for us. We greatly appreciate you and what you do for the team and so many others out here. So, guys, and just be honest about it. You know, Mr. Thomas has put something here for us. So like I say, take the notes and listen to it. So, and it's an honor from it's honoring Mr. Thomas because he's here to give us the info, and all we got to do is take it and run with it. So, but and keeping it simple. So, guys, today put some stuff together, and kind of, you know, Rose and I always like to talk about things that we're experiencing. So usually when you hear us talk, even if we don't say it, it's something that we're going through or just got going through or something that impacted us pretty good. So, with that being said, the big thing that people have problems with a lot of times is follow-up. I got a chart I want you guys to see at the end of all this, because when I saw it, I was like, no way. And but it's the fact, man. Someone did the statistics on this, and it's crazy. So, but we're going to talk a little bit about follow-up. Okay, we're going out here. We're all getting these names and numbers, and I'll be honest. I mean, I've gotten names and numbers of people that I'll find months later or even longer. Oh crap! How did I miss this guy? And it doesn't matter how you missed him or this person. It's the fact that we did miss him. And that, you know, and what sucks about that is I start thinking is like, man, could this have been my Mr. Thomas? Could this have been my Jocelyn Driscoll? Could this have been my, you know, even better, could this have been my Tony Kupes or my Greg Provenzano? You know, so figure out a system, because there's a whole lot of systems out there. There's a few but apps online we talked a little bit about last week. But figure out what's going to work for you. I've heard SVPs, they have like a binder, right? And this is a sideways flip, but theirs is a long way flip. And some of Mr. Thomas's SVPs, they had one of those in their front seat of who they were going, and they kept it updated and everything else. For me, that's a little hard because binder's a binder. I mean, I have had papers flying out my window driving down the highway. So figure out something that's going to work for you to keep an idea of those people, because this is all part of follow-up. So, well, you got their names and numbers. I know a lot of you out there is sometimes we talk to them and they're excited, like, yeah, I'd like to see something like that. You know, you've piqued their interest. You got that curiosity going. And sometimes it's like they give you the, I don't know, cold shoulder, or they give you the, what do they call that? The missing in action witness protection program. So don't be bothered by that, okay? And don't think you're being a pest. If you're saying the same thing all the time, if I reach out to you a couple of times and you don't respond to my text, even if friends, I'll just say, like, say I met Mr. Thomas, he was out having coffee or smoking a cigar at and having a drink or something, and we'd start talking, and I pique his interest, and he doesn't respond to me after about 3 times. I'm texting. He says, "Hey, I hope everything's okay." And what's interesting about that is I've actually had people come back and say, "Oh, hey man, sorry I didn't get back to you. My wife had a baby," and I was like, "Who would have thought?" So you never know what's going on. So don't stop reaching out, okay? And asking those questions, like, "Hey, are you okay?" If they're not responding, so there's nothing wrong with it. But here it comes down to how are you doing the follow up, right? How did you get taught when you came into ACN? Um, like you say, we've shown people the business. We got people excited, prospecting. We show them the business. We get them excited. They want to get started, right? It's all part of follow up. But how many of you here on here, little participation, that you show the business is like, yeah, I want to do this. All right, when can we get you started? Oh, you know what? What's today? Monday? Okay, let me look at my schedule here. Yeah, wait, payday. I'm like, okay, Friday. I get paid on Friday, so we'll meet up. Okay, what's a good time? But boom, okay, we'll see you then. And we'll send out a little few texts. Like Mr. Thomas will send out a good text every day, and sometimes I'll copy and paste that and say, hey, my mentor sent this to me, and I thought it was pretty good. So I kind of keep them, or we kind of keep them engaged, right? And or they say, hey, my payday's on the 15th, or hey, I don't get paid till next week. So we got 2 weeks out, right? I just had to pay rent or with my car payment, whatever. And then only for that day to come, and that's when I said this a minute ago, is they go MIA, right? And a lot of times it's because they spoke to their friends. They've said too much. We've gave them that time frame to go out and talk to people. And they've talked about friends, family, and friends and family are good for shooting your plane right out of the sky, right? Or here's a big thing. This is what Rose and I've really found out, more so Rose, because she's really good with this, is they doubt themselves. People doubt themselves like it's sad. They don't think they can do. They want to do everything, but they don't think they can do anything. And even if it's another reason, but they still find a reason to go into witness protection. Okay. And you never hear back from them again. And here's interesting enough, if I've actually had people and it's hard to wait unless you got one of those apps where you can put people back for a month, 2 months, 3 months. But I've waited a month sometimes, and sometimes 6 months. I'll come across their phone number again, like, oh yeah, that's that Al Thomas guy. Let me reach out to him again. So I'll call him on my phone and had him answer. And just to have them get a chance to meet up again. But still, that's that part of that follow-up. So you never know what people are going through. You never know. And it's look, if they haven't talked to you and responded to you in a couple of days, that you've been reaching out to them 2, 3, 4 times max. Sometimes people go more. Start asking if they're okay. Is everything okay? Because look, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Be genuine about it. You should, if it's someone you met that you possibly want to be on your team, you should be wanting to know how they're doing. Okay? So, but all of us that have these people in our lives, I'm starting, man. I'm bringing 6 people to my sign up because I want them to get started in a freaking cricket. So we all have these people in our lives. So the thing is not to get discouraged. We can't get discouraged. Talking about follow-up, I'll give you guys a few stories. So now we get our protein powder and vitamins and some of our vitamins and stuff. A guy owns a store. His name's Jim, and he's always helpful with diet and everything else. And his buddy Lucas that works there with him. So they're really good about all that, right? So, and I always like they ask me, hey, what's going on? I say, hey, man, we got a new health share stuff kicking right now, and it's on point, man. It's not as expensive. It's health share. It's not health care, so there's no profit. So I just give them a few tidbits, and I just let them know about it. Interesting. It was like a month later, 3 weeks later, something like that. Jim calls me, and I'm like, oh, he never calls. Hey, Jim, what's going on? Oh, not much. And say, things at shop are good. And he actually had a car. The poor lady stepped on the gas in forward versus reverse, and she went over the curb into his front glass wall in front of his store and into the store and basically destroyed it. So I was asking him, hey, how's process going with that? Are they starting, and he's been dealing with all that. So we kind of have a little something to always talk about. And he goes, hey, after, checking on him and everything else, he goes, you still have that health insurance stuff? I go, yeah. Okay, hey, me and Lucas want to sign up. All right. What's a good day? Oh, how about Thursday? Lucas and I will be here. Okay, dude, I'll see you Thursday. What about 1, 2? He goes, yeah, two's good. Okay. I get over there and they've forgot, and they've got the store packed with people that are doing their diet program or waiting to do their next diet program. He's like, hey man, can you come back in a couple days? And this has probably been about another 3 weeks, but I still keep checking on him. Right? I still keep checking. I'm like, screw it. You call me when you're ready. Throw a little Jersey accent in there. You call me when you're ready. No, I just keep checking on him. I go in there, I still buy vitamins. Hey, let me know, buddy, when you're ready to do this. Right? And so that follow-up has kept me in the game. I got another young man. In fact, Miss Evelyn Phipps, who's on here, met a guy, and he's got 2 jobs, working his butt off. And we sat down, we showed the business, and he was like, dude, I like this. I want to get started. Okay, when are we going to get started? He says, I can't do it now, so let's do it on Monday. It's on. Monday's good. And sent him a text that morning for Monday. And he's like, oh, didn't answer me. And I thought, okay. A little bit later, he answers me, and he's like, oh, hey, Chris. Hey, sorry I didn't answer you earlier, but this is not a good time. I had some other stuff come up I had to take care of. Okay. So now I've texted him 2 times. This is all follow-up. I've texted him 2 times. Once like, hey, bud, hey, I hope you got your stuff all caught up. What's another good date we can sit down and get things going? Okay. And nothing. And I sent him a second text. Hey, is everything okay? I know you were excited about seeing this. Just let me know, dude. We can figure something out. I can show you how to do things. And another asset of this is we can actually put some money back in your pocket and lower your bills. So I opened up the customer aspect of it to him, right? Just customer, and nothing. So now I'm at the point where, hey, Evelyn. So what Evelyn's going to do is Evelyn will actually reach out to him, and I call it playing the dumb game. And Evelyn's going to reach out to him and says, hey, Chris, I hope everything's all right. And things are going good for you, man. I know you're working your 2 jobs, but hey, did you ever get a chance to talk to Mr. King? So try to open some doors and see if she can't get in touch with him. But there's other aspects. You're saying, hey, where are you? Why you said, it's like, hey, this is follow-up, man. You don't want to boot him out of your car, but you want to get comfortable in your car. All right. Another one. So I get this. So this is my follow-up with people. I got a guy, and I'm friends with a guy who does the elderly, Medishare or Medicare for the elderly, right? And this guy, he went down and saw this guy, and they asked him, hey, what can you do for my wife? He said, well, first of all, your wife's not 65. I can't do anything, but I know a guy who can help her. So let me see what you got. So Jeff knows insurance. So he starts looking at his wife's insurance policy, and it's crap. She pays almost $200 a month. And it covers it. I'm telling you, it is wide open for her. I mean, unless you get in a car accident with a car that only had 3 wheels on it and was painted red, you're not getting anything. And he saw that, so he's like, okay. So this was like June of last year, and I call him and says, okay, hey Keith, when you want to meet up? When's a good time? And he's like, oh, great brother, I'm up here in the mountains camping, which was depressing for me because I wasn't camping. And he says, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. I says, all right, brother, you come when you get back. He didn't know if they were going to come back in the middle of the week or on the weekend. So I said, when you get back, call me and I'll make a trip down there because he lives about 45 minutes away, and we'll get your wife all hooked up. He's like, sounds good. Never heard back from him. Sent him a text. Hey, hope everything's okay. Never heard back. So what's interesting is I get a phone call out of the blue 2 weeks ago, and they're ready to get his wife hooked up. And I was like, oh, wait, who? Thinking who is this now? Okay. Oh, sounds good. I had to go look up notes to find out where he lived and everything else because I'd forgotten. It had been so long. He never reached back to me, but he was still in my contact list. And he's like, okay, sounds good. So I get down there and ask him, hey, you were going to call me when you got back from camping. Is what happened? He goes, oh man, you didn't hear? And I was like, no, I didn't. What happened? He goes, middle of the night, I heard a boom outside. Something bumped the trailer, so I went out to check it out. And I hit the button for the stairs to go down. Well, I didn't realize the stairs were already down. So when I hit the button, I brought the stairs up. So when I stepped out into the dark, I went to the ground out of my camper. And he's 65 and older. So he showed me some of he's still beat up from last June. He's still got knots that haven't healed. And I was like, oh man, dude. But now see, follow up. I still have to follow up with him because he wants to read up on this stuff because now he's ready to sign her up. So in fact, I got to reach out to him this week and check on it. So follow up, guys. That follow up is huge. I got another guy who's moving back to Idaho and tells me, hey, if I get this insurance, I might as well sell it because he's selling all his solar stuff down here and moving back home. So, but I've been following up with him for probably a year. So keep your follow-up, guys. You never know what changes, what's going to change, and things. But here's how we can stop those guys, especially from signing up in the business and sometimes customers, but mostly signing up for the business. And I wanted to go over this with you guys. And instead of saying hey, I'm signing up on Friday, it might be Monday or Tuesday, right? I think it was Tuesday when I met Chris, and he was signed up on Friday. So that's only a couple of days, but so much can happen in those days. And I think it was Carrie Roeder did a call on Mr. Thomas's call here, and she talked about every day that they don't sign up in the business, you lose about 25% of excitement. And in 3 days, you're only working on 25% excitement. So how do we avoid that? What approach can we take to do that? And I could be, I know, and Rose and I both agree that I could be better at this. I'm not. So when people are excited and want to get started and their excitement's at their highest is when we got to take action, right? So whether or not they have the money and they can get started right now, I'm not, I know you have the money. I'm not going to say that, but they want to put it off for whatever. So here's what we're doing. We're sitting down having coffee, right? We're at a restaurant, wherever you are. And first thing I'm going to ask them, like, okay, you want to get started Friday or on the 15th or here? Let's do this. Let's show you how the business works without putting a dime in. Okay. And they're like, oh, I can start working this without putting money in. And who are the top 5 people that you would like in your business? And they start thinking, they're like, oh, and a lot of times most of the time they already know. So got my pen, right? And I got my paper out there, and who do you know? Look, you're going to be in business with the people you want to be in business with. So who might be? Oh, my sister, Stephanie. Oh, Stephanie. Tell me a little bit about Stephanie. Oh, she's this. She's my sister. She's awesome. She's had a business before. Blah 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 blah. And so I take notes of all that, right? So, okay. And my best friend Steve. I'm like, okay, boom, Steve and Stephanie. Okay, wow, cool. So I write these names. If I can get 5, I'm doing good. Okay. This is how we're going into action right away. So they're excited, right? And I tell them, I got all that written out about them underneath, and especially some strong attributes. Are they a good worker? Oh no, they call in sick all the time. They hate their job, and they always want to, maybe we'll call them later. Who's a butt buster, right? So taking those notes, keep it down. So we have them because we've come across people who's like, all right, let's make a phone call. And Rose did. Rose sat down with this young lady, and she wanted to get started, and she got started right there. Rose was working her through her launch, and she says, okay, who can we call right now? No, we can't call anybody. And well, how are we going to, grow business and get customers? And like, so Rose sees that she's does not want to make phone calls. She said, well, how about we call your daughter? Because she knew she had a daughter. No, 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 no. I'm not, wouldn't call her daughter either. Didn't make anything. Next day, she asked Rose, hey, how do I quit? I don't want to do this. So just know you're going to come across these people. So sometimes, and we've always had, some people say like, hey, okay, Stephanie, how do we, who can we call? Oh, you can't call my people. They're all at work. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, well, yeah, they all work early. So you're going to get, it's not always 3 o'clock in the morning, but you are going to get that pushback. But you know what's easy? And we do this with my business network group, networking group. So if I've got a referral for you, I'll actually put you on a 3-way and say, hey, Miss Williams, here's Mr. Al Thomas, and he's looking for health insurance. And I know you can hook him up. So he's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. We've been friends forever. So Mr. Thomas, Miss Williams, Mr. Thomas. Now it's on Mrs. Williams's. It's all hers. And you can see them start to talk back and forth. Sometimes I'll take it to their own text, but I stay out of it and they do their work. Okay. So how easy would it be for them to sit down, and you already have a simple little text ready for that. They can copy and paste, right? And do a 3-way text to their superstars, creating curiosity and excitement. And they introduce you to each other. After the introduction, we take it from there. So now we've got a contact. Now look at this. Was it simple? Yeah. Is it duplicatable? Yeah. And here's what's crazy. Once they see this work, and now they know they can introduce you to anybody they meet about the business, guess what? You're not even around, and you're going to get a text and say, hey, Mr. King, here's so-and-so, here's Mr. King. He's the one I was telling you about. Introduction made. So people see it's simple. They see it's duplicatable. And once they do it a couple of times, they got it, right? That hands-on, they've got it. So now it's up to us to set up those, talking to them with those text messages, to set up an appointment to go meet with them, okay? And here's what's crazy. This, actually, the person hasn't signed up yet. They're signing up on Monday. But now they've got skin in the game because their family, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend are going to come see the business. Okay? Do you see how that happens psychologically? Now, hey, I'm in this. I better get started. And sometimes I'll tell them, says, hey, remember, we need to get you started on Friday before they get started, because instead of you overriding everything they do, they're going to override everything you do. Okay? What's they call that? FOFO, fear of missing out, fear of failure. So yeah, get that skin in the game with them. Okay. So let them know, hey, I'm meeting with Richard on Friday. So we need to get you in by 5 o'clock, right? I mean, we're meeting at 6:30. So now we've taproot him. So say the person again just doesn't get back to us, doesn't show, doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter. I've got his taprooted top 5 list. If I can get more, great. If not, that's okay. But that's the ability of sitting and doing something different versus waiting for them to come in before we do anything. All right? Simple. So I'm going to show you something, guys. So you guys see this is a sales statistics. 40% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Have you been part of that percentage? 25% of salespeople. Take a picture of this, guys, because I keep this in my phone and I send it to people all the time. But look at that there in the bottom. 80% of sales, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. All right? So don't throw numbers away. Don't send them through the, sometimes that's had an effect, and I've seen it work. But 80%, work with the numbers. Take a picture of this, guys, because this will take you a long way. Mr. Thomas, follow up. That's what I have for you, boss. some good information though, but it's some stories that we're dealing with. I'm dealing with right now. So those are all live stories. So